has is strictly his own.
Word,
But yeah, you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast.
Yeah.
Sam and God, make sure you go up top and hit that like button on either platform you're watching here on Viral Hip Hop News or my man's Hip Hop News Uncensored.
Yes.
Got a dope show going on right now. I wanted to talk about Young Thug, brother. Let's talk about it real
your boy.
quick.
Favorite rapper.
Now, we all know the history behind Young Thug, the rumors that swirl. We did a story last week on him and Lil Uzi Vert wearing some suspect clothing. We got a lot of backlash from that. You know what I mean? A lot of different things. It was a great topic of discussion. We always encourage healthy discussion, no matter what you agree or disagree. But he jumped on his Twitter to kind of answer some of the people, the naysayers that go and clap on his sexuality. He said, "Oops, talking about gay, but won't play. Little boy." Now, we all know that he has his own style of lingo, so I'm guessing that we can interpret that as saying anybody out here calling him gay won't say it to his face, won't come at him crazy. So y'all low, y'all whack, y'all ain't gonna fuck my money up. What do you think about, let's just have the topic of discussion. First on, what do you think about Young Thug's comments, kind of naysaying it, and what do you think about the people, not only the ones that are kind of coming against us and what we said about that, what do you think about this, the whole just genre in itself when it comes to just men, rappers nowadays and different kind of clothing and styles and fashion and things like that?
You know, man, I try to always take, I always try to look at both sides. And even if it's three sides, I try to look at the third side, of the spectrum. And when we was talking about, when we was talking in the pre-production, I think it was the other day, Kanye, what he said about how the kid plays on a coffee table and the parents, you say, get off the coffee table when the kid's not worried about the coffee table. And what he was trying to say is that we got a lot of things, that we were kind of taught, that this is supposed to be one way. And one of the things, it was when Little Uzi had a purse on, and then Young Thug was sitting by him, and they were sitting by each other, and and it's like the comment section made me think, just not to say that I agree, but like, have standards been put on us, or expectations been put on us, you know what I mean, or one way of doing things been put on us that may not necessarily be the truth. Just because you see a cat wear a purse may not mean he's a homosexual. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just doing it for a headline, or maybe he's just doing it to get the type of reaction, to get the people talking, to keep him, himself relevant. So I had to look at every aspect, of it and say that, I still think it's bullshit. I'm just keeping it a buck. I just know there's no way you can, that's like that title I put on the video was, he can't explain his way out of this, and Young Thug can't explain his way out of it. He's saying somebody, they won't say it to your face. Doesn't matter. When again, it's about the children and the next generation of people. And, you're sending them a fucked up message to the children, when you put a purse on, which traditionally used to women wearing purses. It's just a messed up message. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of, a generation of kids wearing purses. Then we're going to wonder what's wrong with our society when you have men and women trying to play role reversal. Then we wonder why everything is the way it is.
It's going to be people that are just going to get pissed off at this conversation. You know what? Good.
Right.
Because it needs to be said. Let's keep it 100. First off, no one on this platform, no one sitting to the right of me, no one sitting in this house, in this studio, whatever, is homophobic. That's laughable.
No.
Got family that are homosexual, got friends that are homosexual, got homeboys, homegirls, whatever you do, let whoever can talk about someone sleeping with whoever, that's not even in my fucking conversation. I can care less on who you lay with. I got other things to fucking do than to care about who you sleeping with. None of my fucking business. But the issue I have is when it's thrown out there as an agenda or made as if it's trendy or something popular to do. That's when I begin to have a problem. That's when I have a problem for the true homosexuals who are out here really living a life, who are really feeling these ways and have to deal with the bullshit that they deal with, because you have some being perpetuated to kind of make a choice as opposed to really living a true life. And that's what I have a problem with. And a lot of these rappers out here, and it seems like it because this was never a trend throughout history. We can talk about the history of men and clothes. And just because I wanted to have a full perspective on this conversation and not seem ignorant to the conversation, I started looking up the history of men and when they started even putting on jeans and his clothing. And throughout history, you've seen your samurais and you've seen your people in Greek and Rome and in Africa just wear traditional garb that can be maybe kind of put in similarity with the dress nowadays. But make no mistake, it wasn't It wasn't. I mean, it's great conversation, but there wasn't. And I understand the conversation of free thinking and the analogy of the little kid on the coffee table and what not to do. And we're just automatically kind of just programmed into thinking what's right and what's wrong. I understand. And I dig that conversation too. I get that. If you are a person who truly wants to wear a dress because this is who you are, and didn't do that, I don't. That's none of my business at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So Young Thug, if that's who he is, come out and talk about it, as opposed to running around it and letting people just have the energy of dialect and creating a picture of their own. Because once you let them create that picture, that becomes reality. You said nothing to this situation, but oops, talking gay, but won't play, little boy. What the fuck is that? Say something on it. Look, man, I'm free thinking, free will. I've been, as a child, blah, blah, blah. This happened. I'm going to wear what the fuck I want. Y'all know I mess with girls. Get out of here.
I agree with that.
Y'all know I'm come on, stop with that. But you don't. You allow people to paint the picture of who they want. You allow these kids and these people that really look up to you to paint a picture and make it trendy to do something. And like you said, to run toward a situation. If this is who you are, this is who you are. No hate here. Love, do what you do. But to be made to seem like it's trendy or made like an agenda, that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. And I agree with that 110%, man. When you come out and when you playing around with it, you know, and leave it up to people's interpretation, then people are going to put, you know, have their own, you know, conclusions, you know, on that. But I want to, there was a few comments.
Yeah, man.
I want to pull up.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to highlight a few people.
Word.
Put you on the sun. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. That we could talk about it. I'm going to randomly go through here. So if you see this video, you know what I mean, I appreciate you for leaving a comment. If you don't study the book of Daniel, the prophet in the book of Revelation by Apostle John, then I can understand why people are so surprised. People like Thugger and Uzi were predestined to sell their soul to the devil behind money, fame, and fortune. Now let me expound on that, because when people talk about sell their soul, people thinking like, you know, a lot of people think one way and some people think, oh, like the actual, like they sold their soul to the devil. That might be one thing. But when I hear sell their soul to the devil, it's like they'll do anything for money, as far as like, you know, put a dress on for this movie, put a purse on for this movie, kiss this man for this movie, you know, go do this. It's nothing that will stop you. You know, there's no like, because even with Dave Chappelle, they wanted him to do it. He said no. He as a man, he said, this is something, you know, that I won't do, because it's what's the word I'm looking for? Dehumanizing and demasculating, you know, for in my opinion, for a man to put on a dress and a win or to wear woman's attire. It just is. If I come out here right now in a woman's dress and some high heels on, it just, you know what I mean? It just wasn't the way we was raised, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to put a stereotype on the way anybody should dress per se, but it's just like, you know, my dad was a Marine, you know what I mean? So it's just a little different for me the way I grew up. I just got to speak for myself.
I think it's strictly very, very hypocritical, and the hypocrisy of some that can sit there and go on against a Tyler Perry, a Martin Lawrence, a Jamie Foxx
agenda,
and all of these people who wore dresses as black men and try to say that they are demasculated, but then in the same breath go and kick rocks on whatever platform and say, how dare you say it's wrong for him to put on a purse? It's his free will. We say this. How dare you? Because at the end of the day, Martin, who we all love, Jamie Foxx, who we all love, all these actors and people that I'm naming, they all did it and made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. But when when it seemed like thrown on as an agenda, then they're the victim. They love to play a victim role. Now I want to talk about Rich Homie Quan, dope rapper, and he was put in that box early on. He was on a platform talking about and addressing Young Thug, calling him hubby. Let's hear about that, and then I want to dive into it. Let's get your 1-2. Let's go.
Explain what that means, man, because you know people gonna jump to the conclusion. You know what I'm saying? At a certain time, like everybody, and I don't know, man. It's nothing but a figure of speech. Anybody who knows me or knows Quan, or knows Jeff, or knows Thug, knows like you wouldn't say it in there when I face it. Point blank period. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a figure of speech, man. Take how you want. Like, I really don't even read comments. You know what I'm saying? If it has the internet buzzing, man, let's keep it buzzing, man. Let them keep calling me hubby. You know what I mean? I know I ain't gay. Point blank period. I feel that young.
So my thing is like, almost kind of admitting that these cats, not to say they're him, but it's like almost like, all right, I put the dress on, don't mean I'm gay. But it's still it's still going to have an effect on people that see it.
And he knowing that, he ran away from that.
Right.
He cut the hair. He kind of ran away from that. You know, him and the falling out with Young Thugger. He don't really kind of associate himself with that anymore. So you even heard in that dialect, man, I'm just doing what I got to do, man. I'm not. But at least he came out and said it. You won't even kind of throw Rich Homie Quan in that box anymore. Wouldn't dare do it. You know what I mean? He kind of got out of it before, let's say it was quote unquote too late. And I think that's what a lot of these rappers, now I'm bad to cut you off, they should really be careful of, because you're letting this media paint a picture that you won't be able to get out of. And once it's really time for you to show who you really are, no one's going to care, because there's going to come a time where Lil Uzi says, you know what, man, fuck that shit. I don't know why I did that. Let me get away with that. But people are always going to bring that back. It's going to come a time Young Thug may go, man, fuck that shit. That's not who I am. But people are always going to bring that up. So you got to be careful on how much control you allow them to have over your life. Because once you allow them to have too much control, you won't be able to get it back, and they're just going to paint the picture however they want.
Yeah, like meanwhile, you know, like I'm reading this comment this dude put. I work at a popular department store, and we got a shipment of man bags. It was kind of confusing because we didn't even have a section for man bags. We have gym bags and book bags. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I just want to say it goes on to the whole thing about the agenda. These companies just trying to sell shit. They don't care. They say, look, man, wear this and wear that. Well, fuck it. Why don't you just try this woman? Put this on. You know what I mean? Little Uzi, we'll pay you. You know, because I think it was even something with Will Smith's son was going to model at one point, some women's stuff, something crazy like that. So it's like, all right, you can model. You don't got to just model the men's, the Jordans now. Now y'all can model women's stuff, and we're going to sell them the same because you have a women demographic that watch it. But look, I'm going to ask you this question though. You know, before we get even deeper into this, do you think this has a direct correlation between, you know, a lot of us now being raised by women? Because you look around, you see like women. You know, because I talked about, you know, we both had our fathers in the household, and it was just, this was unacceptable. But if you're a woman, may just laugh if her son's walking around, he put the heels on or has a bag on. She may not necessarily condone them. So is this, you know, and then also another aspect to this is that naturally a child is going to emulate whoever's raising them naturally. Yeah. So if you just got the mother in the household, and this goes into a lot of these emotional cats on YouTube, and a lot of these emotional cats is killing each other in the street. They're picking up a lot of these traits, you know, from their mother, and they're acting like women even more and more. Do you think that the lack of women in the black household and minority household has a direct correlation of the way these rappers are coming out right now, dressing like women?
The lack of men, you mean?
Lack of men.
Great question. Okay. Yeah. Great question. It definitely has a psychological effect. It needs to be dived deeper into. It needs to be addressed more, because it's whether it has a case in most or none, it's not addressed and it's not brought up, and it needs to be brought into the conversation very deep, because it is what it is. Without a male in a household, it's a balance. It's just like if you don't have a woman in the household, you need that balance. You have people or men that have piece of shit women or piece of shit moms. They go out and just do whatever they can with women, you know what I mean? Or degrade and do things terrible to women. Same thing with a man. If they don't have a man in the house, they don't know how to properly be a man. So they out here running wild, not doing the right thing, not learning, not following and leading by example, like you alluded to. Whoever's in that household, you're going to emulate and follow. And as a boy, his natural reaction is to follow his father. It's just natural. Yep. A little male cub follows his daddy cub. You know, it's natural. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the mother is a staple and so strong in the household. There's no doubt about that. We praise our mothers to the end and to the death. But what we don't do enough is praise the fathers. And often enough, it's because a lot of them may be in jail or in a situation where not in the household. And as men, we got to check ourselves on that and make sure that we're on the front line to say, now, fuck that. You're not going to keep me out of my kid's life. You're not going to stop me from seeing my kid. Yeah, I may have a situation, but I'm going to get out of it because I have to make sure I'm a staple in my kid's life. Even if that daddy's sitting in jail, I believe that it's somebody's responsibility to make sure them kids go see their dad. Even in that fucked up situation, though, listen, man, listen, babe, don't do what I do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got to see a situation where there is a way out for you, but don't end up like I did. Don't resent. If you're going to resent me, but listen to my words and understand that you can't be in a situation. There's just nothing going on. There's a disconnect with any kind of staple in their life. And without both, I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. And a lot of these rappers, I'm sure if we dove deep, you see that they didn't have dads in their life or what have you. I can't say all, but I'm sure a lot of them do. It's a psychological issue that needs to be talked about and needs to be addressed for sure.
Yes, sir. You listen to the Unsaid the Truth podcast with your brother, Old God and Sam. And I want everybody listening to do me a favor. Go up top and hit the like button and make sure that you share this video. I definitely appreciate everybody watching. And I appreciate everybody that leaves the comments on the videos. I continue to keep it going, man. We appreciate it.